Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. A very happy Lunar New Year or Chinese New Year to all of you. My name is Erin Gates, and I am with the California State Parks Online Resources for Teachers and Students Courts program. And I am honored that I get to be here to assist in this virtual celebration with Jack Frost at Weaverville Joss House. And we'll be turning it over to Jack in just one moment. But I wanted to remind all of you that this is the first in a series of 3 virtual events that we'll be hosting today. And we are so glad you're joining us this morning. We hope you'll come back and join us at 11 and then again at 1 o'clock. We have different events that are going to be going on at these different times. Right now, we are looking at the traditions in the Cloud Forest Temple, which you can see behind Jack. This is going to feature special meetings behind incense, food offerings, money, and revered ancestors. At 11 o'clock, we'll be connecting again live to have a lion dance and lantern craft. So you'll have an opportunity to begin with the colorful lion dance. We'll be sharing New Year's memories, and then we will be demonstrating the traditional red lantern craft and talk about the Chinese zodiac. And then lastly, at 1 p.m., our final program is to experience the temple heartbeat and some firecrackers. In this final program, viewers will share a special and sacred time in the Cloud Forest Temple, getting a chance to hear the unique temple heartbeat. It will sound on the gong and on the drum. This final event will conclude with a little Chinese firecracker to scare the bad spirits away. So we are so excited you are joining us. Please share this with your friends. Also note that myself and Jack will not be wearing a mask during this broadcast because we are maintaining greater than 6 feet of distance from anyone else in the park. We hope that you'll come out and you'll get to experience Weaverville Joss House yourself or any of the other 280 state parks in California. We just encourage that when you come, please stay safe and make sure you have your mask with you in case you cannot maintain greater than 6 feet of distance, and also some hand sanitizer to help you stay clean. So without further ado, it looks like we've got over 200 people joining in our Ports Home Learning program, and I'm sure we have lots of you live on Facebook, but you didn't come here to hear us talk. You came here to see this amazing temple. And with that, Jack, I'm going to turn it over to you. Take us away.
Thank you, Erin. I am Jack Frost, and I'm here at the Weaverville Joss House State Historic Park this morning. And we are celebrating Chinese New Year's 2021, the year of the metal ox. Right behind me is the Cloud Forest Temple. This is the oldest continuously used Chinese Taoist temple in California. It was established in 1852 by the Chinese immigrants that came to California, or as they called it, Gumshan, Gold Mountain. In 1852, the local newspaper recorded the very first Chinese New Year's celebration as a very colorful and very loud celebration with lots and lots of firecrackers. And we're continuing that tradition now in the 169th year that this temple has been here functioning in California. If you notice behind me, the structure itself is a wooden temple, which was unusual. And it is painted on the front to resemble blue porcelain tiles. That blue color was very, very important for this structure. It matches the color of the sky above, which they refer to as the color of heaven. So this is a temple that has a great connection to heaven and all of the heavenly ancestors. If you'll follow me, we'll walk up to the front door. And the path that we're going to be following is a curved path, not a straight path. Because there's an old superstition that a straight path is one that evil spirits can travel on very, very easily. And because they are so lazy and they refuse to change their ways, curved paths are very, very protective. As you see, right above the entrance door, there are 3 beautiful Chinese characters in gold. The one that's on the right is clouds, the one in the center is forest, and the one on the left is temple. And in my broken Cantonese Sayip pronunciation, it is Wan Lam Mio. I know it's different in Mandarin, but I haven't had the opportunity to learn Mandarin yet. So I'm going to go ahead and step inside the front door. I have to show that I have the ability to step over the threshold to gain entrance to the temple. This is something that an evil spirit will not be able to do because of their laziness. I will then strike the gong 3 times to start the Chinese New Year's, the year of the ox. And today is also something very special. It's a new moon. It is specifically the second new moon after the winter solstice. And that is what sets Chinese New Year's Day. The celebration will last for 15 days and will end on the 26th or 27th of February, which is known as the Lantern Festival. And we'll be talking about that more in the second segment. Many years here. Moon Li is the, so I will strike it the customary 3 times to start the new year.
Jack, it sounds like you have had quite a bit of experience here at this incredible temple. How long have you been working here at Weaverville Joss House?
I've been here for 21 years. And when I first started, I was very, very fortunate that the Chinese elders were still alive. They actually told me that I could ask them only 2 questions each time that we got together, because they got so tired of my 20 or 30 questions that I had. I really miss those folks, especially Mrs. Lee. She was very, very helpful in interpreting this particular facility. Her daughter and her grandson are still using this temple. It is still functioning for about 21 families. And they have been here in the last few weeks and left offerings in memory of their ancestors and also the historic ancient ancestors that are honored here. Now, in the old days at Chinese New Year's, sitting on this little stool would be the temple caretaker. Mrs. Lee's father, Moon Lin Lee, was the last official caretaker of the temple. He took over in 1937, but he decided in 1956 to gift this temple to the people of California and created the Weaverville Joss House State Historic Park. And that was taking care of one of the 3 lifetime obligations that each Chinese person has. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in the 3rd segment of this program. But since he's not here, the temple is still guarded and still being taken care of by the door guardian. And he is represented by this statue that's here on this small shrine at the entrance. His name is Tudegong, the guardian of the earth, or the guardian of wherever he sits. He is sitting here in the Cloud Forest Temple. And as you can see today, he has apples and oranges that have been left in his memory. Those are very, very auspicious because the apples are red, which is the color that the Chinese use to represent good luck. And the oranges, which are called gum, mimic the color of gold. And Gold Mountain was a phrase that the Chinese used to describe California, and they called it Gumshan, Gold Mountain.
Gumshan.
Gumshan. Now, Tudegong will also be in homes and in businesses. He will be out in fields in a small shrine. But if he's in the home, he's usually shown with an image of his wife, Tude Fo. And she is always with him to make sure that he does what he's supposed to.
Is she in here?
She's not in here. But the little sign that's above his head kind of tells you he is the administrator of the community's affairs, and he can judge whether you have been good or bad, and he will grant you what you deserve. And so that phrase in Sayip Cantonese is called Daizi. So many of the Chinese just refer to him as Daizi, the one who gives you what you deserve.
And for some folks, a lot of time that's a punishment, not a favor.
Mhm. This is such a beautiful example of how so many of our different California state parks are helping to showcase stories that are often not heard in the history of California, and perhaps even cultures that haven't had an opportunity to be shared. And this temple and this wonderful New Year celebration is really giving us a chance to celebrate.
It does. I've had people from all over the world visit this particular park. I had a Chinese family here, and they were talking about Tudegong, but the little grandson decided that it wasn't Tudegong, it was Santa Claus. Because Santa Claus either gives you something good or he punishes you for being bad. This umbrella that's sitting here right next to the door guardian is referred to as the King's umbrella or the Imperial umbrella. This would be representing the Emperor of China in any of the celebration parades in the older days outside.
Oh, it is beautiful. Can you describe a little bit for our audience what it's made of?
It's made out of pure silk and hand embroidered with gold threads and colored silk threads. The imagery that's on the front of the umbrella are little food dogs. And the food dogs are great little protectors. And they're being harassed and actually challenged by the butterflies, which are flying around them. There are many butterflies that are there because if you remember what I said earlier, evil spirits only like to travel in straight lines with no change. And butterflies change all the time. They never go in a straight line. So a lot of the imagery and a lot of the animals that are being shown here in the temple are for protection of the community, the people, and the temple itself.
There's just so much detail in here. Everywhere you look, there's something else to catch your eye.
Oh, there really is. But the really fantastic part is the main part of the temple, the shrine of the Three Kingdoms period. This was all manufactured in China in the 1860s and the 1870s. It was exported here to Weaverville, California, specifically for the Cloud Forest Temple. And there are 13 statues that are in the 3 wooden spirit houses against the back wall that depict individuals that lived at the start of the Three Kingdoms period, which was 220 AD, and went all the way up to the beginning of the Tang Dynasty in 618 AD. So this is a temple that represents a very, very old time period of China's history. The Tang Dynasty is really the Renaissance, where literature and education and art, music and poetry really, really flourished. And beautiful things like this started to be developed.
It is amazing to think that Weaverville, even today, for all of you that are not familiar with Weaverville, and perhaps you could look it up on the map, but it's about an hour's drive west of Redding, California. It's in the very far reaches of Northern California. It feels almost like time has stood still here.
Yeah.
And to think that all of this material was prepared and made and shipped from China all the way to this place.
It amazes me every time I think about it because it was shipped across the Pacific Ocean on sailing boats that sometimes took months to get to Daifao, which is how the Cantonese referred to San Francisco. And then the Temple Association had to pay for the shipping cost to get things shipped on the river boats all the way up the Sacramento River to the town of Red Bluff, which is 87 miles away. And then using push carts and mules and their own shoulders, the Chinese brought all of this up over the mountains and across the Trinity River to the foot of the Trinity Alps to Weaverville. And that really shows their determination to be a permanent part of California after the gold rush.
Well, and to also have a place where that they can celebrate their culture and honor their traditions.
Yes.
As well.
And today, the families that are using this, they feel very honored to be able to still celebrate these celebrations here at the temple, but also be able to honor all of their ancestors. They feel there's a real connection here. We've had Taoist priests that have conducted ceremonies here in the past for the temple, and they feel the energy is still here.
We were just talking the first time I came in here, you can feel it.
Yeah.
For all of you watching, just wanted to let you know that we are in a building that is almost 150 years old. And our cell reception, we are pushing the limits. And so we are hoping that the cell reception maintains strong enough to keep us going. But if we do get a little pixelated for part of this broadcast, that is why. But we wanted to make sure that we did whatever we could to provide you a chance to see all of this. What have we got here?
Oh, this is the New Year's meal that has been placed here in honor of the ancestors and family ancestors. These are typical things that would have been brought to any temple by the families. We have a whole roasted chicken with the feet and the head still attached. That was a tradition because it represents togetherness, which all of the Chinese hope they are able to do to bring all of the family together at Chinese New Year's. There are plates that are filled with gold bars and gold ingots. Although these are made out of paper, they symbolize the intent. And there are apples, and there are oranges, and there are pomegranates. The fruit, the color of the fruit is very, very important. The green apples represent good health because everything in nature that is alive and healthy is green. Again, the oranges mimic the color of gold, so they're called gam in Cantonese. So that is a symbol of great wealth. And then the red apples and all of the rest of the red that's here represents good luck for the coming year.
And what about the pomegranate?
Ah, the pomegranates, because they are filled full of so many seeds, it is a symbol of fertility. There are 3 cups of rice wine that have been poured because you share all of the favorite things that you would serve at a banquet dinner. This is being served to the spirits of the ancestors to make sure that they know that they have not been forgotten and that their life efforts when they were alive are still remembered.
What a beautiful sentiment. And the idea even that this was a time, this is a time to gather with family and friends. And although that is proving a little challenging in this current Lunar New Year celebration, that's part of why we are doing this today, is wanting to give everyone a chance to celebrate with us, even though you can't be here in person, that you can connect with us virtually.
Right. It's one of the things that I really enjoy about working here for state parks is that we really make an effort to keep these cultural resources alive, keep all of the traditions going year after year, and hopefully next year we will be live with our lion dance team here.
That would be amazing. I will definitely come out for that. Where are we going next?
Well, we're going to go right to left. So we are going to go in a counterclockwise path through the rest of the temple. This little box is very, very important. A lot of our Chinese visitors are very surprised that this temple seal is still here. It is in one of the oldest calligraphy forms in China. And it basically says that it is the house or the palace of the North Emperor. And his name is Bakai. And he is honored here in the center spirit house, along with Kuan. And they are found in several other temples here in California. They were primary figures. We'll talk about them in just a little bit. Behind you is the temple with the paper offerings, the paper money, the paper gold. The purple with the green side panels is actually brand new clothing for your ancestors. There's also a packet with everything that is needed for a good year. And the purpose for this is to show your ancestors that you are willing to continue to provide for them in the afterlife. This packet is a little bit more modern because although it has clothing and it has household imageries of the kitchen in it, it also has a brand new wristwatch. So we'll continue on to this shrine that houses the figures of Kuan Yin and Mazu. These are the two female Chinese ancestors that are honored in more of the Chinese temples here in California than any other place. Kuan Yin sits on the right. She is the compassionate one who is always here to listen to your problems. She will make every effort to take away your tears and your sorrows and your suffering. Mazu is on the left with her crown of pearls. She is the guardian saint of the travelers, especially those who travel over the oceans. She is also the protector of all of the fishermen. So all of the temples here in California, especially in Taifao, San Francisco, had images of Mazu as the protector who gave them safe passage to Gold Mountain.
Mm. Oh, and just this whole structure that they are enclosed in is so intricate and beautiful.
It's amazing. The tapestries that are here have ancient poetry on them. The panels, the donation panels, show that this particular shrine was paid for by the women who lived here in Weaverville back in the 1860s and the 1870s, which was very, very unusual. In a lot of temples, the women are never mentioned. It's just the men and the business owners.
Hmm.
The next shrine that we'll visit is the main shrine of the temple sitting here in the center. There are actually 8 figures in this particular shrine. 2 of them are primary and 6 of them are supportive. These are the statues up against the back wall of Bakai and Guangong. Guangong was a great warrior during the Three Kingdoms period. He was known for having an absolute photographic memory. He could read a book or read a poem and recite it by memory. He was a great warrior and a great protector. And the one thing that he is known for, probably more than anything, is his absolute loyalty. So if you ever find yourself in a police station somewhere in China, he will be there as a symbol of those policemen having loyalty to their position. Bakai is celebrated in many of the temples here in California. He is called the perfected warrior, the emperor of the dark northern heavens, of the north direction. We can't see it very well here because of the placement of the statues, but he has a turtle and a snake under his bare feet. And the turtle represents water and the snake represents fire, 2 of the sacred elements. So he is the controller of the natural elements. He is found in the temple at Marysville, California. And if everything goes right, this next month in March, they will have a grand bomb festival in honor of Bakai.
Hmm.
These statues that are out here in front, which are very, very large and very imposing, these are the guardians.
What is the symbolism, the significance of these candles that we're seeing throughout?
Well, the candles are burnt to bring more light into this environment, to give more light so that the ancestors are more aware and can actually see what's going on within the community, can see us. But for ourselves personally, those candles are lit to remind us to get rid of our own personal ignorance and bring more light into our own lives, make us more compassionate, more understanding, and more forgiving.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a very powerful statement.
In this particular shrine, which actually has more discoloration above because of the number of candles and the number of incense sticks burned here over the years, these 3 men represent the 3 things that the Chinese worry about the most in their lifetime. The statue on the left is the great Dr. Hua To. The one in the center is referred to in Chinese as Toibak Singgong, and the one on the right is Qin Lugong. Hua To was the doctor that developed over 1,000 herbal remedies. He used cannabis in his profession for anesthesia. He was known as a great surgeon. He was actually the personal physician of Guangdong. Toibak Singgong in the center, he is the one that provides guidance and direction to businessmen to bring great wealth and prosperity to them. But if those businessmen are not maintaining their 3 personal responsibilities or maintaining their 3 lifetime obligations, then nothing will come their way. Chen Lugong, the one on the far right, is the administer of the Imperial examinations. So if you want to advance in your life and get better jobs or better opportunities, or you feel that you can run a larger store or a larger company, then he was the one that administered a specific imperial exam that you had to pass to be able to do that.
I'm just trying to step back a little bit, Jack, so I can give everyone, it's hard to get perspective. But when you kind of pull back and you look at all of the 3 altars we just walked by and the intricacies.
Oh, and the hand carving that's in these is just absolutely amazing. These 2 panels that are here at the base out here in the front, this one here is a very, very specific historic event. This young prince is holding a little food dog above him, and it's actually on a little presentation plate. It's very similar to the one that's above here, protecting this particular temple. But this is called a food tally. And this is giving him permission to establish an army to defend the nation. And it goes on to the imagery that's on the right-hand side. He has accomplished that particular mission and has now become the Emperor of China in the Tang Dynasty in 618 AD. If I move the fortune stick canister over, it gives you a little bit better image. And so his figure is over on the left with the prayer flags above his shoulders. It's a very, very interesting story. And as many of the Chinese that I have dealt with over the years say, that this is a wonderful story about the development of the Tang Dynasty. Now, I moved one of the fortune canisters. In temples, you would hear these all the time. Let me grab the modern one, because we don't want to overuse. This is the modern one with all 84 fortune sticks. This is part of the I Ching. And so if you go into a temple, you'll hear this noise all day long. And I stopped because I can tell that one of these has gotten out of the canister further than any of the others. So I remove it, I look at the number that's printed on the stick, and even these older ones have numbers on them. And then I go to the daily fortune book and read my fortune for that day. Families own these. And at the Marysville Temple, I've seen hundreds of these canisters at that temple. They all have 84, except for these. And so I asked the temple caretaker at the Marysville Temple, I said, why at the Cloud Forest Temple do the canisters have fewer sticks than here? And he said, oh, it's because older people, when they get a bad fortune, they never put the stick back in the canister. They get rid of that one.
Oh, I like that technique.
So it's improving your odds for your next visit.
That's very smart.
This particular table here was the supply table maintained by the caretaker. There are canisters of incense. There are jugs of wine, fruit. This is where all of the plates would be stored so that anyone coming in could actually use one of the plates to put their food offerings on and then place them in the temple where they'd like. And this is going to be important in the third segment. These are the firecrackers that we're going to be lighting.
Oh my goodness.
Now we only have just a few for today. Last year we had 150,000 firecrackers.
Wow.
So we kind of went a little overboard, but
Well, that means everyone, you must stay tuned for our second and third sessions, because it is very rare. I will tell you that we get to use firecrackers as part of our daily job duty.
it really is. And it's a requirement that we have to get a license to do that. We have to get insurance. And we have to make sure that our local law enforcement and our fire department is aware, because 150,000 firecrackers takes a long time to go.
I am seeing a little boy, Jack.
Oh,
It's
I think it's what keeps me here.
Well, why don't we start making our way back outside the temple? I think we're going to be closing up on this broadcast in the next couple of minutes, but we hope that you'll come back with us at 11 a.m. where we are going to showcase some beautiful video of previous year's lion dance. Is that correct?
Correct. We were very fortunate that we videoed those last year and the year before, so we're going to be able to share those with you. It's a lion dance team from Sacramento, California called Asian Ways. So we'll be highlighting their video in the second Eastern Ways. I knew that was wrong. It's Eastern Ways. But they actually are very, very dedicated to the lion dance activities. And we're very, very fortunate that we have them.
While we're here, and I'm showing, because these caught my attention the first time I walked in, could you just tell us a little bit about what I'm showing our audience right now?
Well, in the old days, the Chinese New Year celebration, the Lantern Festival and the Moon Festival would also have parades outside on Main Street and down some of the side streets. These are the 4 parade banners that always would accompany the celebration. The little mirrors were very, very important. They are a form of protection, and there are hundreds of those mirrors on these banners. It's because of their efforts during these celebrations to actually rid the community of evil and evil spirits that the mirrors are there. They say that the mirrors will always reflect the truth, and evil hates to face the truth. They always hide from it. And one of the animals that they also say that absolutely irritates an evil spirit are the butterflies. And if you look at the base of the one on the far right, right at the bottom above the tassels are gold butterflies, each carrying a little mirror to bring truthfulness into the community and get rid of evil spirits. So there's a whole row of those butterflies right above the tassels.
Oh, I see. Here, let me see if I can zoom in for our audience to have a chance to see. Wow. Wonderful. Well, as we wrap up our very first in our series of virtual lunar Chinese New Year celebrations at Weaverville Joss House, Jack, was there any last thoughts you wanted to impart on our audience for this segment of our celebration?
Well, I'm just really, really glad that everyone was able to join us. This has always been an honor for me to be able to continue this activity. I wish we were open so that we could do it live. We are hoping for that next year. We will be back in our next segment to share the lion dance, and I'll be demonstrating a craft that the Chinese will be doing during this 15-day period of creating a Chinese New Year's lantern, which would be used on Lantern Festival the 15th day.
Ooh, wonderful. All right. Well, hopefully we'll see some of you back in about 25 minutes. And if you can't join us then, we really hope you'll come and join us for the conclusion at 1 o'clock. And what's going to happen again at 1 besides firecrackers?
Well, we're going to revisit the temple. We're going to visit the community meeting hall and the caretaker's living quarters. And one of the things that was very important after all of this celebration was finished for the day was the striking of the drum and the gong to create the heartbeat of this particular temple. And so we'll be doing that at the end just before we throw the firecrackers.
Oh, wonderful. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. We'll see you hopefully again for the next broadcast. And until then, have a wonderful, happy Lunar New Year.
Yes.
Okay. See you soon.